Welcome back to the 4A Baseball Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We've been through another weekend of baseball. We're through the middle of the week. Last episode, you got to hear our big April recap. We had our April All-Stars, and today we're kind of picking up where we left off. We're going to talk some of what's gone on this week, but really focusing on the rookies. MLB put out an article about the rookie power rankings, and we have some critiques we want to talk about to that. I think Tom's on the same page with me. No Steves today. We're wishing him his best on finals. It's final day of the year for him. He gets to go home. We're happy for him. We're going to go on from there. We're going to chop it up about the power rankings themselves. We kind of want to, talk about how every team's doing. I'll voice over tomorrow and talk about what the actual power rankings are. We're still waiting for Steves. And then we'll wrap it up by kind of talking about the eye test, something that we've argued about a good amount on this show. And it's a conversation I'm kind of looking forward to having. How are you today, Tom?
I'm doing good. I think I'm looking most forward to the eye test discussion because there's going to be a couple players that have interesting peripherals compared to their actual counting stats that I want to talk about. But let's just get into the rookie of the year. Is that the first thing we want to cover today?
Before that, real quick, I wanted to ask you a question about something you posted on B-Reel last night.
Oh, no, no,
Uh,
Brad. I
so
saw a screenshot. I wasn't sure who it was.
yeah, I wanted that. So last night, Tom, you posted a photo of you in a blue ski cap with the caption "Got hit in the head, so we rocked into ice hat."
Yeah, I was playing some basketball after studying for my calc final, and the boys were playing physical last night. I got like elbowed in the face really hard. And I came home. I'm like, I'm putting on the ice hat for now. And we were rocking it, man. We were watching hockey. I had the ice cap on, drinking electrolytes. It was a great night, and it was comfortable. It was a style choice too. It was a fashion statement. It was great. It was great.
Well, has your head feeling better?
Yeah, it's fun. It's chill.
All right. So with Tom shaking ahead, we're gonna hop into the rookie power rankings. So at number 10, MLB had Anthony Volpe, and I haven't fully ranked him. I know you have. So like, where does he
Yeah.
stand for you?
He is number 10. That is someone they did get correct. I mean, he has been heating up, I think, in his last 20 games, probably batting around 270 with some extra base hits. He's always been good on the bases. His struggle has been getting on the base to steal them. So, I mean, moving forward, I hope he's getting more comfortable in New York. It seems like he has, but we're gonna have to, continue to see that. He's over 200. He's over the 200 mark with batting average. I know you don't like that stat, but he was really struggling to get anything going at the beginning of the season. But I think he's kind of settled down and comforted himself a little bit, but he's still number 10 on the list.
Yeah, I kind of like Anthony Volpe. I mean, he's putting up a 103 WRC plus, which again isn't fantastic by any stretch of the imagination, but given the state of the Yankees and just what they need him to be right now, I think most Yankee fans would be are happy with what he is. They kind of need him to
Yeah.
be more, but like given who he is as a rookie right now, I mean, he's on pace for a 4 WAR season. That's pretty good. He's got 10 stolen bases. He's playing good defense. I don't see why you could be upset with Volpe. I just think there's better.
Yeah. I mean, I think moving on to the next, who do them will we have next on the list?
Grayson Rodriguez.
See, this is where we start to deviate a little bit. Do you agree with this or no?
Well, again, I haven't ranked yet, but I really like Grayson Rodriguez, and we had talked about it a couple of weeks ago how he's going to be rocky at first. He's got to adjust to the major leagues, but I feel like there's going to be that one star where everything like really clicks. He goes 6, 7 shutout innings and just really dominates the team, and he did that last week to the Tigers, right? So I don't know how high I have him as of right now, what he's done so far, but I think going forward, definitely top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I paired him up head to head with Kodai Senga, and I just think Grayson already has the slight edge on Senga. I think he moves up one spot, and Kodai Senga moves one spot down. I believe that's who they have next, but I have Senga at 9.
Actually, we'll go to Senga. He was at 7.
Okay.
So Senga has 12 runs allowed and or 10 runs allowed and 12 walks over his last 3 starts, and that's kind of not great for succeeding, especially the Mets who are going through a little bit of a lull right now. They've done better in recent games. Started off a lot slower. They did lose 2 out of 3 to the Braves, which is big for them. They got Justin Verlander coming back, but they need Kodai Senga to be Chris Bassett, and is he being that?
I expected a higher ceiling for him too. I thought he would be a guy with one of the highest Ks per nine in baseball with the combination of the ghost fork and the four seam that comes in at 98. I thought that would be a lethal duo for them, but Hasn't really been the case so far. I think he's got a bit of a control issue, but that's pretty common amongst young pitchers. So I'm not crazy worried about it, but I think right now he's just lower on the list for me.
I think it's also adjusting to like the MLB mindset because he is 30. Like he had a career in Japan, but he does have 15.4 walk percentage, which is not ideal. 4.15 ERA, looking like a 4.91 expected. So I I think he'll be okay. I don't think he's fantastic. I don't think he'll finish in the Cy Young. You instead had him pretty high in your rookie of the year voting, if I have that right.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting this guy to be someone that comes in and just, starts off amazing, but that's not the case. I think down the road in the future, I honestly could see Kodai Senga being a Cy Young finalist. I'm going to stand by that. I can't have the recency bias watching him not play as well now.
Hmm.
I still have some confidence going forward with this guy. Just right now, when we're talking about power rankings for the first month of his career, he's just not that good yet. I mean, he'll be better though. I'm not worried.
So I like Kodai Senga. I think he'll be fine, right? The thing is, I cannot find he is not on the first page in WAR for rookies, for rookie pitchers, which is not what you want. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Moving back down to number 8, they had James Outman.
See, this is where we really deviate.
Yeah.
We're not going to be talking about James Outman for a minute. We're going to talk about him at the later on at
Yeah.
the top of the list. But yeah, that's where I had Grayson Rodriguez up in a great spot.
Mhm. And then number 6 was Masataka Yoshida.
That's too low too.
But he hasn't been great yet. I know he's heated up in like the past week or so, as has the entire Red Sox. The Red Sox are actually in a playoff spot as of right now. They've taken 2 of 3 already from the Blue Jays. They had a really good standing over the weekend. And right now they're ahead of the Yankees. I'm looking at Yoshida's percentiles right now, and man, do they look good.
Yeah.
Like
I
they look really good.
No,
Let's
my
see.
my Red Sox offense take is aging like fine wine. Their offense has looked very good within the last 2 weeks. I think Yoshida's hitting streak is a big part of that. I think it ended, but he's still raking right now. So
If
I
we
think there's just
go
that
from the
confidence.
middle of April when the Red Sox were facing the Twins, right? He
Yeah,
had a 167 batting average with a 560 OPS.
I know. And then
Right
yeah,
now, 20 days later, about 20 days, the he just played the Blue Jays last night and he had a 298 batting average with a 902 slug or 902 OPS. So like leaps and bounds better already. Strikeout rate is really good. The walks are there. Everything's there for him besides the defense.
it really is just the defense, and that was what we knew going in as well. Not too much confidence there. I think. If I'm just gonna double check really quick, but is the walk percentage getting better? I
Oh,
mean, it definitely,
it's very good. It's
yeah. So
11.8% compared to a 10% strikeout rate.
yeah, so I think he's definitely bringing the tools from Japan. His amazing plate vision is definitely translating here. Not necessarily like the best in the league, but it's definitely translating. And I think he's heating up, becoming more comfortable, and that's exactly what we wanted to see from him.
Yeah, and so the thing is, right? Like he signed to this huge contract, and you and Stebbs like really like. I think you and Stebbs both had him winning, right?
Yeah, I have him still.
And I think he and one other person that we'll talk about in a little bit are the two front runners of the American League right now. Obviously, his competition got kind of hurt last night, um, and it's also with playing a position you have an advantage over starting pitchers. We saw that last year in the National League Rookie of the Year, where I voted personally for Spencer Strider. Um, but Michael Harris
Yeah,
ended up winning the award both in our mock vote and in real life. So I think that Yoshida right now is probably the front runner in the American League, but there is a very good contender also in a position player in the form of Josh Young.
yeah. I think Josh Young definitely has the power tool to take over, even despite not necessarily getting on base. Does he walk? I don't think he walks nearly as much as other guys on this list. Let me see his tool. He might.
6.3% walk rate to a 33% K rate.
There it is. I think when voters vote on Rookie of the Year, I think they might be blown away by the fact he might hit 30 home runs in a season to start his career. But same time, I don't know if he's necessarily someone that's going to be like just coming on the scene as like an all-star already.
I get that. And it's also the fact that like he is going to rack up more WAR than Yoshida because Yoshida if you're looking at like his values for calculating more on Fangraphs, right? He's got a 4.1 offensive value, but a negative 3.6 defensive value. So like that defense is really going to hurt him. We're young. I'm pulling it up on Baseball Savant, so I don't get it completely wrong. But just
He's a
from
0.
Hmm?
He's a 0 LA right
Yeah,
now.
but like so if you have a aggressively average fielder versus a below average fielder with a very similar bat profile, the better fielder is going to be he's going to succeed a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I think both these guys are good. I think Yoshida's got better peripherals, so I think that makes him. I don't know. I think down the road, I don't know. I'm a Yoshida enjoyer though. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's also Josh Young is basically 3 years removed from being a college bat.
Yeah,
So, and we're talking like former star in Japan versus 3 years ago a college bat. So
yeah.
then
I mean,
next on, sorry,
sorry, I'm a little bit higher on the list, but
next on MLBs was Brett Beatty, right? And again,
where was Josh Young at? Oh, 5. Never mind. I
yeah,
have him at the okay.
Brett Beatty was at number 4 on their power ranking list. But the thing is, right? He's had 42 plate appearances this season.
I mean, he
So
should have been time. He
yeah,
should have been starting this entire time.
like everything looks really good for him so far. It's just I I don't think we can put him on the power rankings yet, just because he hasn't played enough. I think he'll be there. I 100% think he'll be in the top 10, best rookies. But I don't think he's there yet, just because literally just of how much he's played. I think that Brett Beatty is a quality baseball player. I think he's very, very good. I think the Mets should have had him up on opening day. I think we're on the same page there. Um,
Yeah.
it's I just think they have him a little bit too high, just given what he's done so far. It's basically like they had a kid get called up and he's already a top 5 rookie.
I mean, he was even good last season. I think, going into the season, he definitely should have been called up. We already talked about that. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But I mean, I think they're also kind of basing this off tools too. But where do they have him at? Let's
Number
see.
4.
That's too high. I'm at number 6, I think. Yeah, number 6.
Mhm.
So that's right about where I would put him. Is that where you put him as well?
I think I would probably would have put Brett Beatty a little bit lower on the list, probably around 8 or 9. Again, that's just on having been in the major leagues. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you can put him above Josh Young, Yoshida, Outman for sure,
Yeah.
or Volpe at this time. I think he'll be there next month. I think he'll be right there with them. It's just I don't think he's there yet, just given that he's only had 42 at bats. And next on the list was who I think the AL Rookie of the Year should be right now, and that's Hunter Brown. I really like Hunter Brown. You know how like the Astros lost that Justin Verlander guy? They're like, oh, we got Justin Verlander at home, but Justin Verlander at home was really, really good and actually is healthy. Um, his name is Hunter Brown, and yesterday he had his worst outing of his season, and it was 2 runs allowed over 4 1/3 innings pitched. And you want to know something interesting? In his entire career, he has thrown 55 innings. He's allowed no home runs. That's pretty impressive.
Especially in Houston, where home runs come pretty easily for right-handers.
Yeah, I'm looking at the expected stuff right now, and 2022, he had 0 expected home runs.
I mean, it's not very surprising to me. I think we all. I mean, not you, Brad, but me and Stevs underestimated Hunter Brown. I think I picked him to be like 4th in my rookie of the year, but not necessarily a guy to be taking over the spot. We were talking at the beginning of the season who's going to step up for the Astros. Is it going to be Valdez or is it going to be Javier? But it hasn't been either one of those. It's actually
Valdez has been very good.
Valdez has been good, but Hunter Brown has been, kind of the front piece of this rotation at this point. I like him more than Valdez. I think it's just because he's more flashy, but
I think it's also he's going to rack up more strikeouts. And
yeah,
when we look to success, we kind of look at strikeouts nowadays. And
that's
then
true.
number 2, we had my pick for Rookie of the Year. We had Gunnar Henderson, who that pick is like aging like cheese right now. No, not cheese, like milk.
Yeah,
It's aging like milk right now because his stat line just does not look good. He is not among the top of rookies in WAR accumulated per Baseball Savant or Fangraphs, excuse me. He's not on the first page, and that's not really what you want.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing this entire season and he has
No
14
WAR.
hits.
Yeah.
14 hits. He has been walking, which is, a mature thing for a 21-year-old, rookie to come into the game with. But the hit tool does not seem to be working. The average exit velocity is good. I don't know if the expected stats are in his favor. Let me check that out.
No.
The expected batting average is still in the bottom 5% of the league. So it's not like
Okay. Sidebar. The thing with expected batting average, right, is it's not completely like the quality of hit you have, right? It's literally what is the probability that that would have been a hit,
yeah.
right? And because you could smoke 115-mile-an-hour line drives right where the center fielder would normally be standing, and you'd probably have like a 10 per or like a 100 expected batting
Yeah.
average, right? So that's why I kind of prefer looking at expected WOBA, which does have him above league average of 333. But it's also kind of concerning that he's just not swinging. Last year, he was swinging at pitches in the zone 66% of the time. This year, it's down to 56. He's making less contact when he swings in the zone. He's chasing a little bit more. When he chases, he's making a ton less contact. So I think his swing decisions have been pretty poor, if I had to guess.
Yeah, if anything, it reminds me of Juan Soto right now. A guy with good plate vision that's just not swinging at actual good pitches.
Mm-hmm.
I still have him pretty high on my list. I think I have him at but 4 or no, not 4, 6. Sorry, but the fact that he's at number 2, especially over guys like Outman, Yoshida, I mean even Jung, like it's absurd to me at this point. I don't think it's going to continue. I think the quality of contact is still good when he's swinging. I think he's just got to make an adjustment. But obviously, if he's still struggling the way he is right now, a month from now, I think there's cause for concern, but not yet.
And the defense, does that concern you at all?
I don't know what it looked like last season. I got to pull up his
-1 outs above average at second base. And then this year it's -5, 4 at third, and 1 at short.
That is concerning. I mean, in the minors, what was his rating for Field Tool?
Let me get that for you.
He was pretty balanced across the board. I remember that. I don't know if he's definitely underperforming in almost every category.
He had a 55 out of 60 field grade, but I do think he came up as a shortstop though. And now he's at third.
Yeah, there's another guy. His name is Jorge Mateo. We'll talk about him later today. He's been pretty good at shortstop. So I don't know. I think he's taken over there. I think Henderson more likely looks like a second baseman rather than a third baseman.
I think is fine. That's fine.
And that's fine. I just think like I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to put him over Jorge Mateo at that shortstop position because Jorge Mateo is just a better fielder.
Who's the Orioles second baseman right now?
Adam Frazier? No.
Yes. No, it is Adam Frazier. And he's on a 1-year deal. So could you see next year, like Ramon Urias, right now they have Gunnar Henderson at DH, right? But that's been alternating between Rutschman, James McCann, and Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah.
You could have Ramon Urias start as your third baseman, Henderson at DH for days where Rutschman's catching, and then move him to second base and sit Adam Frazier.
I mean, Urias has been year after year better in the field, right? I'm double checking that right now.
He won the Gold Glove last year.
Yeah, but this season he has a 4th percentile outs above average. But that's just how baseball works, dude. Fielding is a lot different than hitting.
I think it's also last year he got consistent playing time, so he'd have consistent ground balls because playing third base ain't easy.
Yeah. I mean, Frazier's not good in the field either. So I think honestly, but you can't put him at DH. He's not a guy that you're relying on for power. But doesn't he also play outfield? Can he also be in the outfield?
But your outfield's Austin Hayes, Cedric Mullins, Anthony Santander.
Yeah.
So
I mean, clearly it's working as an offense. The Orioles look very good. And even right now, I think they're 20-9. So something's working pretty well with them. But the concern about Gunnar Henderson is like if you had told me that the Orioles would be 20-9, I would be like, oh man, Gunnar Henderson must be breaking out. The whole team must be firing on all cylinders. But I mean, it's not always like that. and it seems like other players are filling in, like Jorge Mateo, Austin Hayes has been playing like an all-star as well. Cedric Mullins stealing bases. It's not it's not just Gunnar Henderson that's going to make this team make or break this team. So I think going forward, if he starts performing, this Orioles team is a lot more scary too.
And then they're also, before we talk about number one, they're the second worst team in outs above average. They're at negative 13. And the Rockies, love the Rockies, hate them.
Oh yeah,
They're at negative 16. So number one was Corbin Carroll. And we kind of knew he'd be very, very good. We kind of had him as 1A, 1B with Jordan Walker for the NL Rookie of the Year this year. And obviously the tides have kind of changed on Jordan Walker, which is, we've talked about this, especially last episode or a couple episodes ago. Tom went on a tangent. The fact that he's in the minor leagues is just, it's sad. Jordan Walker, since Corbin Carroll's up, he's doing great. He's been pretty solid. He got off to a really slow start, which was a little bit concerning, just given like last year he was kind of outperforming some expected stats, but recently, right before he got a little bit banged up, he had been pretty solid. Percentiles are looking good. He's just ridiculously quick, so he could play good defense. He hits the ball fairly hard, doesn't walk too much, but he is walking, so he is walking.
He is starting to walk. He's gotten from the negative 1th percentile to the 41st percentile in a matter of 2 weeks. So
yeah, and he's got a 910 OPS. So you know what? You like it. The speed plays. Tom, what the top of your list look like?
the top of my list was Corbin Carroll at 1, James Outman at 2, Yoshida at 3, Brown at 4, Jung at 5.
And then
I feel like there's a couple of things you could change about the list, but I think right now, I think moving forward, like the way we came into the season with the power rankings, and then you make adjustments to those power rankings, I feel like this is the way. Like if you solely based it on performance, it would look a little different. I think Alvin would be number 1, but going forward, I think that this is probably what the top 5 look like.
so the thing between Outman and Carroll, I'm gonna have my Dodgers bias because
Yeah.
I've been calling for James Outman for a year now. And he plays very good defense. He strikes out so much. I feel like he strikes out at least once or twice every night. Carroll doesn't strike out nearly as much, and they're both ridiculously quick. It's just it looks like the hit tool is a little bit more there for Carroll, but the power tool is there for Outman. Like his swing is so short that it's going to age. They're both of these players are going to age well. I don't think that is going to be an issue. I just think they need to see how the league adjusts to them and if they can adjust back quick enough. And I think that's who wins Rookie of the Year.
I think every player that I mentioned 1 through 5 will be an all-star within the next 3 years. I'm pretty confident. If not this season, yeah. And the bottom of the list, I think all have potential breakout as well in the second half of the season.
Oh, I completely agree. So before we wrap this little part up, I did have a question for you.
Okay.
Who is the National League Rookie of the Year at the end of the season based on what has happened so far and what you think will happen?
On what I think will happen.
Based on what has happened, what you think will happen.
How bad is Carroll's injury?
I don't think it's that serious. Carroll injury.
Oh, this is tough, dude. Because I mean, Outman is.
He's chilling. He'll be back in a couple days.
Because I remember looking at a text. You're like, you said if James Outman legacy at bat, if he hits a home run, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
and he hit. And then I was watching the game and I saw it happen, and I was like, I wonder what Brad's doing right now. I think Outman edges out Carroll just a little bit. I don't know, because Outman easily could slump so hard that he just falls out of contention. But at the same time, he could go on like a crazy hot streak.
Mm-hmm.
I think Carroll's a little more consistent than Outman, but Outman has way higher ceiling. I think Outman, yeah.
I think the thing with Outman is since he was so unknown, his volatility is really high. At least from our perspective. Like he didn't come into the season and people were like, oh yeah, James Outman's going to win the Rookie of the Year award this year. People were like, oh, it's going to be Corbin Carroll. It's going to be Kodai Senga. It's going to be Jordan Walker. There's a couple other names splashed around here. Bryce Terang, Garrett Mitchell, Joey Wiemer, just naming off Brewers. But you get the point. Like James Outman wasn't there. Corbin Carroll was right there.
So do you think that pitchers will start to adjust to Outman, and maybe that will be a reason for his downfall in the second half of the season?
I don't think there'll be. I think projecting the end of the season, I think James Outman finishes with like an 850 OPS, which is ridiculously good. For
Yeah,
reference, that is better than Julio Rodriguez was last year.
I know.
Is he better than Rodriguez? I don't think so, but you never know. And I think Carroll, I can see his stuff dropping a little bit, but his speed's too valuable. As long as he's just putting the ball in play, he becomes a threat, right? Because all you have to do with someone with 100 percentile speed is you have to field it perfectly and release it perfectly to get him out on a ground ball. He's going to steal base hits based on ground balls, and people like him will always outperform their expected stats.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure how Carroll projects, but I think as of right now, I'm going to take the safe one and go Corbin Carroll.
Okay.
And
And for
then
the AL,
this one's so difficult.
I'm going Yoshida easily. The batter always outplays the pitcher, and I don't think that Jung keeps up the hot streak. I think he finishes maybe as like a 260 batter with 28 home runs, 29 home runs. At the same time, it could easily make me eat my words, but I think Yoshida's clear right now. I'm not saying that off recency bias. I promise. I think he's had these tools the whole time. I think it's just took a minute to adjust.
I think as of right now, it's Yoshida, just based on what's happened so far. It's him or
Yeah.
Hunter Brown. But I think in my head, there's like a three-way race that's going on. They're all like running, pitching, leaping, whatever they're doing in my head.
Yeah.
It's between Yoshida, it's between Hunter Brown, and Anthony Volpe because he's a Yankee.
Yeah. Okay. You had to provide the reasoning there, but yeah, I get that.
He's a Yankee. He plays. I don't think he's going to be an elite bat. I think at best he's a 110 WRC plus hitter. I think the defense is going to be really good, and that's kind of flashing in New York. They'll steal probably 30 bases, 30, 40 bases.
Yeah.
And that has weight, especially if the Yankees can manage to make the playoffs, depending on how bad this Judge injury is. So I will take Hunter Brown just to be different.
Yes. Okay.